This video is brought to you by Newport Propane. If you'd like to learn more about Newport Propane, you can visit them at their website or on their Facebook page, linked in the description below. Hey there everybody, Alex Gomes here to do another race recap for IKS Race number 2. That was at X1 Outdoors this weekend. I want to first start out by talking about what happened in practice 2. I had a slight mishap that ended up damaging another cart. Janelle, if you're watching this, I'm sorry that the 5-pound weight under my cart came undone and you had to run it over. Please forgive me. Anyway, going into qualifying, I was able to have a pretty good run. I was able to run fastest of all and put the cart on pole, which was pretty exciting. I didn't think I really got one good lap in. I thought I had some good ones, but I didn't think it was good enough for first place, so it was pretty thrilling to put myself on pole. Going into the pre-final, I was starting on the inside row first place, and I had one of the most awful starts I've ever had. As soon as we took off the line, Evan on my outside, he got ahead of me no problem going into turn 1, and then Rodrigo from third place behind me was able to get on my inside. So right off the bat, 2 positions in the very beginning of the race that I had to go and try and make up. And for the majority of the pre-final, it was myself and Rodrigo fighting, and you know, I was on Rodrigo's bumper the entire time during that race. And it seemed like wherever he had a slip up, I would look inside of him. And eventually he did have a decent slip up to where, going into the third to last corner, he slipped wide, went into the grass, and I was able to just take the position. And get second place from him. However, a few laps later, he was able to get me back going into the fountain corner, which is one of the, the best places to overtake anybody. Just got inside me at the end of the straight. I think he was running a slightly longer gearing anyway, so he had better gearing at the end of the straight anyway to get beside me. Took the position back. Maybe a lap later, going into the second to last corner, he ran wide again going out into the grass. The last corner is a left-hander, so I figured, oh, okay, so he's going to come up, pop back into the track, and I'll run around the outside and just take that outside line, stay on the track, get around him, get second place back. He ended up running pretty wide to the point where he was up on the racing line and I had to go up onto the concrete curbing. I went all over the grass, I got all out of whack, and then Jeff Guttison came around me, and all of a sudden I'm now in 4th place. So I'm fighting with the 2 of them to try to get back into 3rd or 2nd as much as I could, because the entire time Evan has been running away with the lead as long as we've been fighting. So there was really no chance at that point in the race to try to come up and pass Evan for first place unless he had made a massive mistake. I ended up finishing in 4th place for the pre-final after starting in 1st, which was not my best performance ever, but it's not like I dropped back all the way to the back of the pack, so dropped to about mid-pack, which, hey, could be worse, I guess. So for the final, started 4th place, and coming to the green flag, again, I didn't really have that great of a launch. I'm going to have to work on that for my next race weekend. Rodrigo was ahead of me in 2nd place, and I had Jeff on the inside of me actually kind of passing me going into turn 1 from 3rd place on my inside. And Rodrigo ended up going a little bit wide into turn 1, so I was able to get under him while Jeff completed the pass on me to take that line. And then Teddy kind of snuck down the inside of me, and he was thinking about taking the inside of me, but I was able to hold the outside around the fountain corner, and then I was able to hold my line going into the right-hander after the fountain corner to take the position, take 3rd place, and work on getting myself around Jeff. It seemed like all weekend I was very, very quick out of the sound corner, and that's where I was able to take Jeff. We went through the right-hander, and when I tried to set up so I could make the pass to the left-hander, and I was able to successfully do that, so that going into the chicane before the Daytona corner, the banked corner, I was able to be on the inside of him. He gave me the position so I could take 2nd place to try and go catch Evan. Now, this was early on in the race that this all happened, so I actually had the time to try and go catch Evan. And unlike the pre-final, where I seemed to be kind of out of pace, I was much closer to my qualifying pace in the final. In half of the track he was faster than me, and in the second half of the track I seemed to be faster than him. And because of that, we stayed glued to each other almost the entire race. To the point or I actually was able to make a move around him in the same spot that I got Jeff. I was able to get on the inside of him coming out of the sound corner, and then going into the chicane, I was able to just take the position I took first place. And I was like, ooh, hell yeah, I actually have some speed now. Maybe we can make something happen here. I retained the lead for about a lap. And then going into the fountain corner, as Rodrigo had done in the previous race, Evan was able to get on the inside of me, took the position, and he was able to stay ahead. And for the rest of the race, I was just hounding on Evan, just trying to get around him, getting to his bumper as often as I could. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do really anything with it, really. I never let him get away, which was good. You know, I've been in races where Evan will just run away from the field, so it was cool to be able to actually stick with him and not just lose him by 5 seconds, 4 seconds, whatever it might be. Evan ended up winning the final, and I finished in second, a little over half a second behind him. So, like I said, never really got that far away. And given the beginning of the day, that pre-final that I had, where I wasn't really on pace and I was making mistakes and not really giving my best driving performance, it was cool to come back in the final, actually make up positions to the point where I got second place, and I was able to earn a trophy. The trophy was this guy right here. Pretty cool little trophy. Doesn't say first place on it, it says second place, but I'll take it. I think it was a pretty positive weekend to be able to have leading pace, and then on top of that to be able to stay with Evan, who is usually one of the fastest guys out there. Of course, as I do every week, there's people that I want to thank for helping me out at the track this weekend. I want to thank Jim Janelle for not beating the crap out of me after I lost the weight off the bottom of my seat and damaged his floor. You are a very kind gentleman. I want to thank all the fellow racers that I was racing side by side with this weekend. I thought we had some pretty clean side by side good fights that were a lot of fun to be a part of. I want to thank Sean Abatey for helping me drill those weights that I had to remount. I want to thank Rodrigo for giving me his drill so I could drill the weights. I need to work on getting my own drill. And of course, as always, I want to thank my sponsor, Newport Propane, for supporting me as they always do with my karting ventures. And that's going to be it for this race recap. The next time I'm going to be out there is going to most likely be one of the Kartmania days up in Canaan, New Hampshire. I hope you all enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.